Alright, out working on my son's 2004 Dodge Neon. He was having issues getting home the other day. Spitting and sputtering, having a hard time getting up the hill. So we came home and plugged our computer in. And I'm just going to do that again to show you guys what we found. Alright, so we have our scanner plugged in there now. It's going to hit the enter key. And you can see we got a P0344, which is the camshaft position sensor A, circuit, intermittent B1. Not exactly sure what the B1 is, but anyway, we did this yesterday, but I just want to show you the code, P0344. And we're convinced that it is the camshaft position sensor. Just by the way it was acting. So if you don't have a scanner and you want to attempt this, if you're having the same kind of issue, you can pick up a cheap one or just go to your local parts store like Advanced Auto, AutoZone. Most of those places will come out and plug a scanner in for you free of charge and at least let you know what the code is. They're hoping you're going to buy the parts from them. So, all right, so under the hood here, you want to go to your driver's side where your battery is. Of course, this is the 2.0 16 valve. There is a 2.4, but I think they were mostly in the SRT models. So chances are you got the 2.0. All right, so if you look over where your battery is, you look between the battery and the engine, underneath these hoses. It's going to be kind of hard to see on this right now until I get some stuff moved out of the way. But down in there is the camshaft position sensor. Like I said, I'll get you a better look at that in a second, but battery, engine, that's right down in here. Just going to get some of these hoses out of our way. This wiring harness is not really going to move, so we're going to have to work that in place. Alright, so there's a better look at it. You can see it's right down there, and there's 4 bolts that hold that in. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to remove the battery. That's going to give us a little more access so we can get at everything. 10mm socket. Alright, so once you get your terminals off, you got to look down between the firewall and the battery. Not sure if you're seeing that, but there's a 13mm bolt down there that's holding the battery hold down in place. So we're going to go ahead and get set up with that. We're going to get that loosened up. Alright, you can see now with the battery out, you can see it much better. You're pretty much looking directly at it now. You can see the 2 bolts there, and there's 2 on the other side. These wiring harnesses are in the way a little bit. There's 1 and 1 down there. So we're going to go ahead and loosen that up and pull the sensor out. We do have to disconnect the wiring harness, but it's a little tricky to disconnect, especially when it's jammed in there like that. So there's a little slack on it. We're going to loosen it up, get the sensor out, and that'll hopefully get us out here more where we can get a hold of that wiring harness and undo the clip. Alright, now you can see without the battery in there we have much better access. I'm using 1/4 inch drive with a long extension in a 5/16 bit. 8mm would work as well. The bottom right one is a little bit tough to get at. You can see the ratchet and extension is going to be pretty much right on top of the battery pan, but it is accessible. Alright, once all 4 bolts are out, you might have to push on that a little bit to get it to break free from the old gasket. There she is. So now that we got that undone, now we can pull this thing up and it's going to be a lot easier to undo this wiring harness clip. Alright, so once you got this where you can work on it, get yourself a thin blade screwdriver. This is like one of those micro screwdrivers. It's got to be pretty thin up on top. So you have this red clip here. Get on this side of it, not the side that's got like a hole in it. You want to be over here and push that guy out like that. The red that was sticking out over here, you'll see disappears. That means that's all the way out. And then you want to push down here a little bit and it should wiggle right out. So there you go. That's your old sensor. I'm going to go grab the new one and show you that. Alright, so here's the new part. I got this from Advanced Auto. That's the part number. There's different manufacturers. You don't necessarily have to use this one. This is made by CarQuest. It was about 30 bucks, give or take. The new one comes with a new wiring harness. We're not going to do anything with that because this one's fine. I don't know why they include that. Maybe these are known for having bad wires or something. I'm not sure, but I don't think that's our problem at all. I'm going to hang on to it just in case, but some of them do give it to you when they were looking them up for me. This one came with it. There's other ones that don't, so this was the only one I had, so I took it, but we're not going to need that, I hope, anyway. Here's our new sensor. Obviously, always compare it to your old one. Make sure everything lines up and looks the same. This one does. So it's basically the reverse of what we just did. We're just going to go ahead and reinstall. I'll show that as I go through it. But, you know, if you got it out at this point, it's basically a reverse of what you just did. You will get a little bit of oil once you get that sensor out. Not a lot. You know, you might want to wipe that down at some point. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and start installing the new one. Once that clicks into place, once you got the new one in, make sure you push that red push tab so you can see that opening again on the other side. So now it's locked in place. All right, so once you get all 4 in there, you know, obviously tighten up all your bolts. Do a crisscross pattern. You know, if you start here, do this one, go diagonally. Do that one, go diagonally. Obviously make sure they're nice and snug. Clean up any oil that you can. I wiped it down the best I could, because once you run it for a little bit, you should make sure that, you know, no oil seeping out of there. You know, make sure that the seal did its job. And that's pretty much it. It's in. We're just going to put our battery back in. I'm not going to bore you with that. Same way you took it out, just in reverse. And but anyway, that's it. I'm going to plug the scanner back in, clear the codes, and then we're going to take this for a ride. The battery's out, so it probably cleared the codes anyway. Again, if you don't have a reader, probably by having the battery out, probably cleared it anyway. So when you turn the car on, make sure your check engine light is out. If it isn't, and you don't have a scanner, you may have to go back to, you know, your auto parts store and have them clear the code for you. And then drive it around for a little bit and hope it doesn't come back on, and hope that the car is running good. So anyway, we're going to do all that. We're going to put the battery in, take her for a rip. Make sure you obviously get all your hoses plugged back on. And so we're going to take her for a ride, and we'll let you know if that fixed the problem. All right, so no codes found. That's a good thing. It's probably more because the battery was unplugged. So we're going to have to drive around for a while, make sure that it doesn't come back. No check engine light anymore. Just giving it a little bit of gas here, it sounds pretty good, so I think that was it. I'm going to go check for oil leaks, make sure that that's sealed good, and take it for a ride. If it's running good, that's it. Hope this video helped somebody. All in all, not a hard job. Honestly, the hardest thing is probably getting that bottom right bolt out of the sensor. It's a little bit tricky because there's a couple pipes in the way. Other than that, you know, anywhere's from an hour to an hour and a half if you're somewhat mechanically inclined. And that's it.